Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today's Monday, October 14th, 2013. I don't know why I needed to say all that, but we've got a good show. Before we get into it, you guys already know the routine. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at short_sports24-7. Also on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. And if you missed this episode or any other episodes or want to re-listen to any other episodes, make sure you go on YouTube and just type in The Short Sports Show. And make sure you follow me on Spreaker. Help me get to 100 followers so I can get partnered with iHeartRadio and all that other good stuff. I just got out of work. I'm going to make this show as professional and as best as possible. But if I get a little tired and need a little sip of water, please excuse me for that. But let's go ahead and talk NFL, recapping what happened Sunday yesterday. Bengals hold off the Bills in overtime, 27-24. They had a 24-7 lead, and the Bengals dropped in. It seems this Bengals defense, everybody said that was their strong suit going into the season, but to me, they haven't proved enough. I know the offense has been, inconsistent, but defensively, the Bills are a pretty, good team. But they started a new quarterback and some guy I've never heard of, and for a Bengals defense to give up that big of a lead, kind of worries me a little bit. Lions dominate the Browns 31-17, and quarterback Brandon Weeden for the Browns threw one of the worst passes I've ever seen. Threw an interception late in the game, which they had a drive that. They could have gone down and scored and, tied the ball game early in the game, or not early, midway through. And, he throws an interception and, fans are booing him. They're tired of Weeden. Yet there hasn't been a report that came out that said Weeden is still the quarterback for, this upcoming week, which I don't know how much they're bluffing on that. Maybe they're looking at another quarterback. Also, real quick, just remembered, the Buffalo Bills did sign Matt Flynn from free agency, and this guy has been getting paid to do nothing. Matt Flynn, if people remember, he was the backup to Aaron Rodgers and had that real good game against Detroit. Threw about 6 touchdowns, 400 yards, broke some Packers records at quarterback, and then gets I don't remember. He got released. He was a free agent. Yes, released free agent. Got paid huge amount of money to go to Seattle. And then Seattle realized, hey, Russell Wilson is a pretty good quarterback, being drafted in the 3rd round. They bench Matt Flynn. Russell Wilson takes over. You know the story from that. Then Matt Flynn gets traded to the Oakland Raiders. Still gets a good amount of money. And Terrell Pryor comes out. He's doing good. Matt Flynn is kind of struggling. And then Matt Flynn gets released. And now Matt Flynn gets picked up by Buffalo. So basically he's done nothing. He's played one great game and just got paid millions and millions of dollars to basically roam around the country. So good job for him. Chiefs remain undefeated with the win over the Raiders 24-7. And Panthers beat the Vikings 35-10. Panthers did a really good job stopping Adrian Peterson, who had only 62 yards rushing on the day. And, it was an emotional game for him. But one thing I did want to clear up, I was seeing, on Facebook and Twitter around, they were showing pictures of Adrian Peterson with his son. A lot of people don't know is that the first, a lot of the pictures weren't the same son, is the same kid the one that got, beat and then eventually died. Adrian Peterson had not seen his son until he saw him in the hospital on life support. So all those other pictures of Adrian Peterson, kissing his son and hugging him, with the Vikings jersey, that is Adrian Peterson Jr. That is his other son. So again, Adrian Peterson did not see the boy who got beat until he saw him in the hospital on life support. So just want to get that cleared up. I mean, it's still a bad situation all around, but, yeah. All right, so Steelers get their first win over the New New England, really? I'm sorry. Focus. New York Jets in an ugly, boring ball game of 19-6. The Buccaneers fall to 0-5 with the loss against the Eagles, 30-10 or 30-20. And the head coach Greg Schiano for the Buccaneers came out and said, "Buccaneers fans, don't worry, we're gonna get better. That we're gonna get good." And my response to that is, yes, they will once he's not the head coach. I think him being the head coach, it was a bad decision, and he's a bad coach, and he's obviously going to get in trouble later on throughout the year because of releasing some medical information, which is, illegal in federal. That's federal law, whatever. And he's just a bad coach overall. I don't like him. I think he's screwed up with Josh Freeman. I think Josh Freeman's going to be really good with the Vikings this year. And, Buccaneers might as well go wear those creamsicle jerseys that they had and live back those memories of, winning like one game every year. Packers hold on against the Ravens and win 19-17. A pretty good game, but I don't really like those too much of low-scoring games. I really like seeing those up and scoring games. The Rams crushed the Texans 38-13, and I'm going to get into that talking about the Texans. I'm going to go off on a little rant about the Texans in a little bit, so Texas fans, brace yourself. Jags keep it close, somewhat close, with the Denver Broncos. Now, everybody said, this was, the line was 28 points. That the Broncos, that's what they were supposed to beat the Jaguars by. And that did not happen. Jacksonville they kept it close. I think in halftime it was 14-12 at halftime. I didn't watch the game, so I don't really know if the Broncos were kind of keeping it easy. What they're really doing. I mean, they scored 51 against the Cowboys. You would have thought they would have done the exact same, if not more, against Jacksonville. They didn't do that. They only scored 35, which is still a lot, but 35-19 was the final score. Seahawks get a sloppy win over the Tennessee Titans, 20-13. That game, both sides were very bad. I mean, they both have very good defenses. I'm not taking that away, but it was a very, very bad, sloppy game. I mean, there were just mistakes everywhere, both offense, defense, and special teams. It was probably a really boring game to watch. That was the only game I was able to see up here, and it was very boring. But Seahawks do get the win. The Patriots come back in the final seconds. Thank you, Tom Brady, for scoring that touchdown because I needed those fantasy points very, very badly. They come back, they have a comeback. Final seconds, they give the Saints their first loss of the year. The final score was 30-27, and Patriots did a very good job defensively. I know they gave up 27 points, but this Saints offense is very, very good, and they kept the tight end Jimmy Graham from catching one ball. He did not catch any, which was his first time since 2010 that he had not caught, that did not have a reception in a game since 2010. That was his first time. So Patriots did a good job stopping Jimmy Graham, taking out, very lethal target for Drew Brees. And offensively, they did, another good job because the Saints defense was very good. And, with the Patriots having their, offensive struggles throughout the year, they found some type of rhythm and did a very good job beating the Saints. 49ers scored 10 in the fourth quarter to pull away against the Cardinals. 32-20 was the final score. And really surprised how the Cardinals kept it close with the 49ers. And 49ers have been, ever since they got dominated against the Seahawks, and then the next week getting beat down by the Indianapolis Colts, they have really been less talked about. I mean, over the offseason and beginning of the year, that's all you heard, 49ers, 49ers, 49ers. Now, over these past 2 to 3 weeks, you haven't heard anything about them. And I would not have thought they were going to be struggling these first 5 weeks into the year, or 6 weeks. I think this was week 6, I think. So, Dwayne Harris has a huge game for the Dallas Cowboys, has 222 return yards. helping the Cowboys beat the Redskins 31-16, and Redskins dropped to 1-4 now, which is another interesting thing. We thought RG3, how would he respond, from being hurt? How is he going to do? And really has been struggling. He did find, we did see some glimpses of him coming back as if, how he played in his rookie year, but it seems like he's taken him and Colin Kaepernick are taking a huge sophomore slump. Now, I know Colin Kaepernick, this is his third year in the NFL, and this is only the second year for RG3. But as starting quarterbacks, they've really fallen down. It's either the defenses have, found a way to contain them and take away, what they like to do. And so it puts them in very uncomfortable, area, so they make bad decisions and whatnot. Or this could be, RG3's still hurt and just hasn't really admitted that he's, still playing in a whole lot of pain, that he's not the same. So we'll just have to see throughout the year. Tonight, the Indianapolis Colts and take on my San Diego Chargers. Monday Night Football. We are wearing our powder blue jerseys. I'm excited for that. When we play the Colts, especially on Monday night, Sunday night games, we usually have a great game. I mean, when Peyton Manning was there, we would always give him, the toughest games. How defensively we would mix up coverages to throw him off, and it's very hard to do against Peyton Manning. Somehow, once he went to the Broncos, we didn't know how to do that anymore, but that's a whole nother discussion. Anyways, Colts, Chargers, tonight, Monday Night Football. Starts 5 o'clock Pacific time, so whenever for you guys. But I'm excited to see. Thankfully, I am off work, and I will be able to watch my Chargers. So please, Chargers. 2 weeks ago when the Chargers played the Cowboys, I gave them a little speech. Now, did they hear my show? Probably not. But if they did, and, since I didn't say anything last week, so Chargers, I'm talking to you. Let's win this game. We're back on Monday night. We did a bad job, on Monday night, first week against the Texans. Let's do a better job. Let's get above 500. Or where are we at? Are we 2-3 right now? I really don't even know our record. Shows you how much a fan I am. Wow. Anyways, let's do good because, right now, the only 2 undefeated teams are the Chiefs and the Broncos. And guess what? They're in your division. Yay! So we got to get some type of wins because we're probably going to lose all 4 of those games to those 2 teams. So, Chargers, let's win this game. You live to fight another day. Anyways, Texans quarterback Matt Schaub injured his ankle against who'd they play? Wow, against the Rams, and was booed. Now this is my rant section. I'm about to rant against the Houston Texans, and just be ready. So, injures his ankle against the Rams, and what do most fans do? They're in shock. They're looking to see that, oh my God, our starting quarterback is hurt. Is he getting up? Is he walking by himself? Does he need a cart? What's going on? Usually it's quiet. People are trying to think what's going on. What are the possibilities? Who's the backup? Things of that nature. Apparently, Houston Texans fans don't do that and start booing or cheering. I think it was cheering that he got hurt, which I understand he's been struggling, but you don't even see Cleveland Browns fans cheering that their quarterback's been hurt or something of that nature. And they have a worse time dealing with wins and losses, going through a season than the Houston Texans do. Texans are cheering for Matt Schaub that he's hurt, and karma strikes back at him. TJ Yates goes in. Most Texans fans, if they're not bandwagoners already, which most of them are, which I'll get into that again a little bit later. TJ Yates goes in there. He took, Matt Schaub was injured 2 years ago when they made their huge playoff run, and TJ Yates came in, beat the Bengals, or did a good job in the regular season, then came in for beat the Bengals, and then I think lost the next week against the Patriots or something like that. But looked like a pretty solid quarterback, looked like the quarterback for the future of the Texans. And I don't think maybe it was his first pass. Anyways, on that possession after Matt Schaub gets hurt, he throws a pick six, which a lot of Texans fans don't like that. It's hard for them to swallow hearing that. But he throws a pick six, and it was like 98 yards or something like that to Alec Ogletree, the linebacker for the Rams. Takes it all the way back, scores a touchdown. I believe that was karma because they cheered that Matt Schaub got hurt. And this is where I'm going at. It seems like a lot of Texans fans are not really true fans. Now, it seems like, the past 2 years, the Texans have been good. They've been to the playoffs. It's Houston, Texas. It's H-Town, whatever you want to call it. So people are just kind of just jumping on like, oh, they're finally good. Let's give something to cheer about, and let's join on their bandwagon. They start struggling this year. Where are most fans? They're like, oh man, they suck, blah blah blah. They're just, I don't know how else to say it other than it seems like 90% of Houston Texans fans are nothing but bandwagoners. That they're just, once they're doing real good, oh, everybody's out there cheering. As soon as they start struggling, they're nowhere to be found. And I know each team has that situation, where you have teams that do good, so everybody's on them, like the Patriots or something. And then as soon as they start struggling or something, oh, they're nowhere to be found. But it seems to me that maybe it's because of the time, living in Texas. I saw a lot of that, and I don't know. But that was my little rant on how Texans fans are majority bandwagon. Now, if you're a true Texans fan, you don't have to go put in a comment, blah, 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 blah. I've been true, this and that. That's great. But if you were cheering that Matt Schaub got hurt, one, that's just bad being a human to just cheer for someone that got hurt. Now, even if Philip Rivers, when he had his, bad 2 to 3 years that he's had, where he was throwing interceptions like crazy, I'm not going to go and cheer that he gets hurt. Maybe I want him to, to remain bad so, Chargers can go get Taj Boyd, quarterback out of Clemson. Chargers fans, I think he'd be pretty good for us. But I'm just saying, I'm not going to go and cheer that he got hurt or something like that. That's just wrong all over. From a fan to just being a normal person for cheering someone that just got hurt. So, Texans fans, you got what's coming to you, and that's getting finding back. Let me try to think how I'm gonna phrase this. Sucking this year, yeah. So that was my little 2-minute rant that I got. Anyways, Patriots wide receiver Danny Amendola is injured again. He's had injury problems his entire career. Usually with his legs or his arm or something like that. This time he suffered a concussion against the Saints yesterday. I was going to say this weekend. Either way, same thing. And is out again. This was his first game returning since having a hip problem that he suffered, like week 2 or something. Came back and then suffered some concussion and is probably going to be out next week. May or may not. That I don't know for sure. But I'm just saying. And it sucks because this guy is a very, very talented wide receiver. And, I mean, if you could put up yards in St. Louis when your quarterback's been struggling during the time he was there, you got to be a really good wide receiver. Comes to the Patriots, who's supposed to take over for Wes Welker. It seems more that Julian Edelman has done that, in my mind. But Danny Amendola, it sucks to see him just constantly getting hurt. I mean, he doesn't mean he's weak. It doesn't mean that, he's not tough or anything. I mean, this guy's a tough guy, but it seems things just don't go his way with injuries. DeMarco Murray, oh yeah, these are all injuries that I'm about to talk about, so this could be a little bit depressing. It seems like the injury bug just came out this week. DeMarco Murray suffered an MCL sprain, and DeMarcus Ware strained his right quadriceps in last night's victory over the Redskins. Status is unclear for both. Ware has never missed a game in his 9-year career. I didn't know that. I thought he has missed some games, but DeMarcus Ware has never missed not one game in his 9 years that he's played for the Dallas Cowboys. But DeMarco Murray has missed 9 games over his past 2 seasons. Hopefully DeMarco Murray is A-okay because he's on my fantasy team. And when I go and look for running backs, for a backup or even for a starter for 1 week, it seems like I can't find anybody that's good enough to give me some points. So, DeMarco Murray, I'm praying for you. Hope you get better because I need you in my fantasy points. But obviously, hopefully you get better because you're a good running back and all that other good stuff. Packers wide receiver Randall Cobb is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks, and James Jones was injured. I don't think they have said when he's going to be back. I don't know if he'll be back this week or have to miss this week. But both of them got hurt against the Ravens. Thing is, if you saw how Randall Cobb got hurt, this brings up another discussion on how the NFL is going to, how the NFL is going to try to do this. Everybody's trying to get away from concussions. That's all we've been hearing about for the past, seems like forever now. Injuries to the head, concussions, blah, 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 hit on the helmet, all this other stuff. Now, because of defenders don't want to go up high, even from, their ribs up, they don't want to go up because all it takes is that one flag, and, that's a huge, 15-yard penalty and possible getting ejected out of the game. And also later getting fined for something, that because when two full, grown men are coming at you full speed and, something's got to happen. And one of them's going to duck. And now, defenders are told hit low. They start to hit low. And now Randall Cobb gets hurt, with his, fibula or something like that. And next thing you know, hopefully, this does not happen, but it seems like it will. It's just a matter of when. Someone's going to break their leg. Someone's going to have another Joe Theismann type thing where there's going to be a defender behind a receiver and in front of them, and they're both going to go low, and it could be, from side to side, something like that, and boom, something's going to happen, and then it's going to be like, so where do we tackle now? We basically just ended someone's career. Not saying that happened to Randall Cobb. I'm just saying, as an example of this were to happen. You ended someone's career, and, I don't know. That's just another little thing. It's just, it seems like there's no way around. I mean, football is a violent sport, and I hate that, they have to focus so much on concussions when it's like you signed up to play football. You got to know what you're going into. You got to know there's a good chance, you're going to get hit in the head and have a concussion. There's a good chance you could break an arm, things of that nature. I mean, it's the same thing as NASCAR racers. Someone goes and crashes and dies and blows up in a car. You got to know that might happen. What are you going to say? Okay, now we need to add more protectors on the cars, this and that. And then the car is going to be slower and this and that. So you start making these arguments for different things. It seems like they're trying to do this for those, soccer mom type people. That's what they worry about. This is who bring it up. It's just, I just don't understand why we have to focus so much on concussions. Yes, that's a bad thing, but that's part of the sport. I guess it's easier said than, to talk about than when it actually happens, to someone you may know or something like that. But I just feel there's too much emphasis on this concussion thing where it worries too many people and more chances of it happening over and over again. That's just my little 2 cents. And again, Saints tight end Jimmy Graham had an undisclosed lower leg injury against the Patriots. No other news on him. And again, he had no catches in that game. So let's talk a little bit of college football. And college football has been pretty crazy. As I move my papers around. 6 teams, or 7 teams, I can't remember now. 6 or 7 teams were lost, or ranked teams were upset. Penn State, let's go down the list in order. Stanford lost to Utah 27-21. Utah was unranked, and Stanford drops, and most likely is out of national championship contingency, if that's the right word. They still have to play Oregon, so now they might want to take out Oregon, and it's going to be pretty crazy how this plays out. Penn State defeated number 18 Michigan 43-40 in 4 overtimes. I saw that from fourth quarter on, and that was the most amazing game. And I picked Penn State to win that game, so very excited Penn State won that. Let's see. Georgia lost to not Miami. I don't know why I wrote down Miami. They lost to Missouri. Missouri came out of nowhere. Had no idea they were undefeated. They're 6-0 now with this win over Georgia, and it was at Georgia as well. They won 41-25. Georgia loses another game, and Aaron Murray just looked terrible in that game. I think he had like 4 turnovers. Somehow, the Texas Longhorns defeated number 12 Oklahoma 36-20. That threw me off as well. I mean, Oklahoma had a great offense, great defense. They were doing really good. But I'm just going to go ahead and just say that TCU exploited a little of what Oklahoma liked to do when we stopped them. I mean, we held them to 20 points. And I think Texas actually was smart enough to watch film, which throws me off that they're actually that smart. And they watched film and they said, wow, let's do the same thing. They did, and Texas had a whole lot better offense than TCU does, which hurts to say. But Texas did upset Oklahoma. LSU defeated number 17 Florida 17-6. LSU was already ranked. I think they were number 10 in the nation, so it's not really an upset, but it's another top team that dropped. And also Wisconsin defeated number 19 Northwestern 35-6. And I think there's some other oh my god, we're running out of time. Crap. There's some other upsets. Baylor, I told you guys Baylor's offense was going to drop. I told you. I don't know how many times. I probably annoyed people by saying how Baylor's offense was not going to be the same. They did still score 35, but I said, hey, that's what they're going to score. They're going to score from that, from 30s to maybe 40, depending on who they're playing. And they scored 35 points against a good K-State defense. Final score, Baylor 35, K-State 25. And just saying, no more than 45 points ever, until they play like Tech, because Tech doesn't have a defense. Excuse me. Nebraska and Oregon to play a home-and-home series in 2016 and 2017. First game will be at Eugene, Oregon. Arkansas Athletic Director Jeff Long was added to the playoff committee, which seems like okay. Georgia running back Todd Gurley is, quote, real close to returning, and they would have liked if he could have returned against Missouri because they needed some help, not health. My Los Angeles Dodgers, now to MLB news. Los Angeles Dodgers are down 0-2. I'm very distraught right now that they're we're only a few hits away from being 2-0 against Cardinals. Cardinals are a very good team. I really did not want to play them because I knew how offensively and pitching-wise they are very, very good. And I did not want to play them. I knew that the Dodgers had a better chance of beating the Pirates than they did the Cardinals. And I'm not going to say I'm scared, but I am a little bit nervous. If we go down 0-3, it's going to be very hard to come back. And not saying it can't happen. I mean, you look at the Boston Red Sox, what they did in, 2007 when they came back against the Yankees. They were down 0-3. Everybody counted them out. Came back and won the series 4-3. So hopefully that doesn't have to happen for the Dodgers. Hopefully we got 2 games in L.A., and then I think we're back in St. Louis, and then, back home, and then at St. Louis, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully get these 2 wins at home because they're needed. Obviously already down 0-2. But we got Cardinals have Wainwright on the mound, and we have, I can't say his name, but Ryu is his last name. Very, very good. Hopefully we can stop him. Red Sox, what a game last night. If you guys saw it, you saw one of the great playoff games last night. Probably one of the best. It's got to be the best playoff game this year so far. Red Sox were down 5-0 in the bottom of the 8th until David Ortiz hit a grand slam and tied the game. It was 4-5, whatever. Later on, Jared Satalamacchia. Yeah, try to spell that name. It took me forever to spell his name. Jared Satalamacchia, the catcher for the Boston Red Sox, hits a walk-off to win the game. Series is tied at 1-1, and they play tomorrow in Detroit. So go Red Sox. Final score was 6-5. That's it for the show. We finished, I guess, right on time. Only have 45 seconds left. So make sure you guys follow me on Spreaker.com. Just click the follow button and help me get with iHeartRadio. That'd be awesome. Also, miss this episode, miss any other episodes, want to re-listen to any other episodes, make sure you go on YouTube and type in The Short Sports Show. Follow me on Twitter at @short_sports24-7. And what else? YouTube, Facebook, The Short Sports Show. And I'll be back Friday. Let's say 10 o'clock Pacific time, Friday. I'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for watching, And happy Columbus Day, I guess. I don't know if anybody really celebrates that, but thank you guys for watching, listening. Same thing. It's all good. Deuces.